running from cops and escaping from hospitals. Yet CHP chose to confront this armed suspect surrounded by kids at day camp. An officer and hostage were shot, another hostage killed, and children traumatized. After he was caught, he escaped from a hospital again, prompting a 2-day manhunt. One suspect, 3 agencies, countless questions, and CBS 13 is getting answers.
Tonight, in part 1 of our series, we investigate the fatal decision by California Highway Patrol to serve a search warrant to an armed suspect at a public park surrounded by kids.
Here's Julie Watts.
April 6th, 2023. An elderly couple was taking a late morning stroll on one of Roseville's many lush walking trails. Nearby, Mahaney Park was filled with kids at spring break day camps put on by the city of Roseville, ranked among the safest cities in the country.
I'm just trying to play some ball.
But that safety and security was about to be shattered.
We were hitting in the batting cages
by a fatal law enforcement decision.
Shots fired at Mahaney Park.
To serve a search warrant to an armed felon at a public park.
Multiple shots fired, suspect, white male, black jacket.
Court records reveal Eric Abril was a suspect in a freeway shooting 2 months earlier in Sacramento, 20 miles away. A California Highway Patrol Special Task Force had been surveilling Abril in Roseville, where he'd been staying with his mother.
He has 2 dogs with him that are following him.
Instead of serving their search warrant at Abril's home, Highway Patrol decided to follow him to the Mahaney Dog Park.
And then we see cops chasing after a criminal.
Court records reveal as Abril walked back to his car, officers confronted him.
Said, "Police, get down."
That's when Abril allegedly pulled out a pistol and began shooting at officers, hitting one.
We have the officer confirmed gunshot wound to the chest and hand.
CHP fired back as Abril ran toward the batting cages.
That's when we got on the ground,
where kids were playing.
And then gunshots were fired, roughly 20.
Bullet holes near the batting cages revealed just how close the children were to being shot in the crossfire.
We still have active gunfire all around.
Ethan and Kyle say Abril tripped on one of their baseballs as he ran by.
He was like 4 feet, 3 feet from Kyle. Yeah. And he dropped the gun.
But Abril picked up that gun and kept running to a nearby ravine, where Jim McKeegan and his high school sweetheart Patty were out for a walk.
He's stuck down in the creek.
Jim and Patty had just celebrated their 50th anniversary. It would be their last.
He's going to shoot the hostage.
Abril took the couple hostage, and within minutes, Jim was dead, Patty was shot, and a community was forever changed.
It was terrifying.
Camp counselors tried to shield young kids from the chaos.
I was stuck in a room called the Black Hole. They just took us to the library and waited 3 hours.
I was still terrified. You know, both my kids are in the camp, of course, it's scary.
You can still see the scars left by the bullets just feet from where the kids dove for cover. It's been 6 months since the Mahaney Park shootout, and we still don't have answers to basic questions about what's being done to prevent this from happening again. There are now multiple agencies involved, and each appear to be withholding public information. CHP won't even discuss the fatal decision to serve a search warrant to an armed felon at a public park that day. They're also withholding dash camera audio and video. Roseville PD, who arrested Abril and has now taken over the investigation, will only release seconds of their body camera video, raising questions about what they're trying to hide.
Where's he at? I can't see him.
And the Placer County Sheriff, which has Abril in custody, is now refusing to release the coroner's report, which could confirm he shot the hostage and not police. But we'll circle back to that later.
If you have to choose between serving a warrant at a home or serving a warrant at a busy park, which do you choose?
There's no perfect venue.
But like many, law enforcement consultant and former Sacramento County Sheriff John McGinnis has concerns about CHP's decisions that day, at least based on what we know.
This is a person that has been identified as having a propensity for violence. So is that a foreseeable outcome that violence will be the product when this effort is made? I think it is.
But according to Roseville PD, CHP never told local police they were planning to serve a high-risk warrant at Mahaney Park that day.
It's a basic fundamental that should be taken care of before this kind of effort is executed.
Had they known, Roseville PD might have warned CHP about the city-run day camps at the park.
Maybe has 1, possibly 2 victims on it.
And a simple Google search would have revealed Abril had a history of running from police and hiding in a ravine. After a violent attack in 2014, he led police on a lengthy chase along the San Luis Obispo Creek. But CHP won't say if they consider that before serving their warrant at a Roseville park surrounded by creeks and ravines. Notably, the 2014 police report also reveals after his arrest, Abril escaped from a local hospital, which happened again here after his arrest this year, prompting a multi-day manhunt and re-traumatizing this community before he was finally located in another ravine.
I have no doubt that there are internal reviews taking place and lessons to be learned.
But if there are, CHP won't acknowledge them. The agency declined our interview requests and wouldn't answer written questions, stating the department respectfully cannot answer any questions that may influence decisions criminally or administratively that remain under investigation.
The public has a right to know.
David Lowe, legal director for the First Amendment Coalition, explains CHP's not required to release their findings while their internal investigation is ongoing, but he says they could, and now after 6 months, he believes they should.
The public does have a strong, compelling right to know what are the results of CHP's internal investigation into whether this was an appropriate tactic to serve a high-risk warrant in these circumstances.
Because after all, CHP is the governor's police force with jurisdiction across the state. Next time, it could be your neighborhood park, your kid's day camp, your loved one taken hostage and shot dead.
Now, as Julie mentioned, several agencies are refusing to release recordings from that shootout. Legal experts say that violates state law and raises questions about what law enforcement is hiding. So next week, Julie investigates the public's right to see that footage balanced against privacy rights and a fair trial.